All right. Hey, everyone. How was your day? Am I doing good? Sweet. So today we have special guest, our field rep, Browning Sanduski. He's gonna. What's up, guys? So he's gonna give a speech. He's gonna give a lecture about school choice and him coming from a homeschool background, his perspective on the government schooling system, how it can be reformed. It's gonna be very insightful. So, but before Browning takes it away, I see a lot of new faces here. So we're just gonna go around the room. Raquel is gonna lead a little icebreaker. We're gonna go around the room and just say your name, your major, and a fun fact. And then so our friends on Zoom can hear us also, please speak up because we want to hear you from here. So just speak up, project your voice.
All right, so I'll start it off. My name's Raquel. I'm an APK major, so applied physiology and kinesiology. And a fun fact about me is that I played the violin for 10 years. I don't anymore, so don't ask me. I also played like the Me theme song, like on the violin. I just did like all those weird things. Okay, we'll go through here. You don't have to come up.
I'm right here. I'm Jahani King. I study sustainability and architecture. And fun fact, I have 6 dogs back home.
All right. You're gonna walk that?
Yeah, I'll go. Hi, I'm Abby Streetman. I'm the secretary. Fun fact about me. I raced 4-wheelers for 11 years. I still kind of do, not really.
Alrighty, so we'll just go like over here.
Yeah,
so we'll start with you.
I'll go.
Okay.
Oh, you signed it already.
Everyone, my name's Carter. I'm a senior studying business, specializing in pre-law. And a fun fact about me is, I don't know. I played piano since I was little, and I used to go around and like teach kids and adults how to play in my neighborhood.
All right, we'll start here.
All right, so everyone speak up.
My name's Brett. I'm a history major, and fun fact about me is I spend most of my free time doing research. So study history. That's about it.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Michael. I'm an aerospace engineering major, and a fun fact about me is I'm an Eagle Scout.
Very cool.
Nice.
Nice.
Eagle Scout.
What's up, guys? I'm Alec. I'm a junior. I'm studying political science, and I'm a competitive eater.
Wait, no way.
Huh?
What do you competitively eat?
Competitive eating?
Yeah. No, but like what? Hot dogs?
My last challenge was a 17-ounce steak challenge. 1.5 pounds of size.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Be honest, do you think you can take on Joey Chestnut?
Probably not. Didn't he? His record like 72 hot dogs?
Something insane.
Yeah, it's like 20, 30, so probably not.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, my name's Gavin Scott. I'm a transfer in agricultural operations management, and I know a lot about reptiles. I've had a lot of pet reptiles, so yeah.
We skipped you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're good. Hey guys, I'm Lance. I guess a fun fact first. I've been a musician for about 8 years, and I'm a sophomore. Yeah.
Cool.
Sweet.
What are you studying?
Interior design and architecture.
Nice. Alrighty. Zach, yeah.
All right. My name is Zach. I'm a sophomore, studying business, minor in history. Fun fact about myself, I powerlift, I guess. My last competition got canceled for COVID, so just kind of vibing now.
What's your PR for bench?
Yeah, what's your deadlift? For bench?
Yeah, what's your bench?
275 last time I did. Deadlift is 530.
530.
Yeah.
What about squat?
Yeah. Oh, last time I did that, I think it was like 4 plates, so 405.
Yeah. Nice. Very nice.
All right. I guess we'll go with you. Yeah, back there.
Me?
Yeah.
All right, my name is Juan. I'm a philosophy major and a civil engineering and planning grad student right now. And I guess a fun fact about me is I picked up disc golf during the whole pandemic situation. So if anyone wants to go out, disc golf.
We got to take her. All right, we'll go back there. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. In the corner. Yeah, you. He's like, Diego.
Can you stand up so the camera can see you? Where are you at? There he is.
My name is Diego. I'm a third-year junior studying microbiology. Fun fact about me. I'm half Cuban, half from Guam.
Nice.
Cool. All right,
Yeah, Nico. Go.
Nico.
I am Nico.
What's up, Nico?
I am a computer science major and a linguistics minor. And fun fact about me is I'm an open water advanced spectrum scuba diver.
Nice.
Wow.
Hi guys,
Hey.
my name is Alec. I'm a third year here, bio major, Free Health. And a fun fact about me, but one of them is I'm a first generation American,
Nice. Where's your family from?
Russia.
Very cool.
Yeah, you look Russian.
I'm from Ukraine, but my mom's from Belarus.
That's awesome. All right. Everyone remember to speak up so we can all hear on Zoom and on the recording. All right. Rains?
Oh, okay. My name is Rains. I'm let's see. I'm a music producer and I also sing for the university and the jazz here. So yeah, it's really cool. Second year, pre-med bio.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go to Alex and then back to Samantha. Okay, go.
I'm Alex. I'm a pre-nursing major right now. Fun fact. I guess I say I play guitar.
Cool. Okay, so
So I'm Samantha, business pre-med, and fun fact, I have 10 siblings.
wow.
Wow.
You're
Nice.
a poor mother.
Yeah, I'm
Sally?
Hi guys, I'm Sally. I'm studying Chinese with 2 minors and biology and business. And fun fact, I'm a first generation college student.
Cool.
Nice. Awesome.
I'm Aiden. I'm a junior. I just transferred here, and I'm studying biology, pre-med. And a fun fact about me is I have multiple fun facts. I can't even choose one.
But theoretically, if you were to choose one, what would it be?
I don't know. Fun fact about me. Ooh, I'm a Jags fan, so I live with a lot of pain.
Hey, good.
I'm Landry. I'm a food and resource economics major. And a fun fact about me is I'm a 9th generation Floridian, and I used to be on 4-H State Executive Board.
Awesome.
Wow, 9 generations. That's a lot.
My name is Lyle Maloney. I'm a graduate student studying mechanical engineering. This is my second year, and my favorite movie is Rocky.
Awesome. And then last but not least,
My name is Browning Sanduski. I never went to college. Fun fact about me is I was homeschooled.
Cool. Okay.
awesome. And then just like unmute them. Try to ask Matthew first.
Hey Matt, would you want to introduce yourself? Do you want to unmute yourself? And anybody on Zoom, you guys are welcome. You're welcome.
We can't hear you. There you go.
Okay. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Well, hi everybody. I'm Matt. I am just a Gainesville native here. I don't go to UF, but fun fact about me is I am a historian in professional wrestling.
Awesome.
Ooh. Okay. You guys can go in order if you guys want to introduce yourselves. So Rachel, I see you.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm a senior pre-med student, and fun fact is I have a twin sister, so I'm a twin.
Awesome.
Cool. Oh, I see we have another taker. Okay, go.
My name is Colton Langs. I'm a freshman, sports management, and fun fact about me is I was the team manager for my high school's football team. I'm looking to do the same thing at UF.
Awesome.
Nice, man. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna hand it back to our president, Carter, and then we will be listening to Browning soon. Okay, cool.
Browning, you ready? All right. Yeah, I don't have much to say. So everyone, please give Browning your undivided attention. Browning is extremely smart, extremely awesome. So if you listen, you'll definitely learn some really awesome stuff. So awesome. Take it away.
Cool. I sure hope I'm not a disappointment in any way. Absolutely. Let's see. Do I just hit this and then hit the present thing?
So
view, present. Got it. Schools suck. Pretty bold title, right? Yeah, they do. Speech over. All right, no, okay, so we're gonna go into it real quick. My name is Browning Sanduski again. I was homeschooled. I loved being homeschooled despite a lot of people's assumptions about homeschoolers. I also didn't go to college. I was going to go to college and do some like business entrepreneurship thing, but I decided to take a gap year and now I'm in year 4. So, you know, this is what happens when you take a gap year. You learn stuff. And hey, you may have learned different things in college, but I learned that I don't need college right now. But that's not the point of my speech. I'm not against college. Just gonna start out saying that. I think learning and education is a amazing thing. I think it should be like everybody should strive for it. It's just spend time reading books, really just invest yourself into teaching yourself important things, and always questioning people's opinions. And when people say things, make sure that you go like, is that what that person said true? And why is it true? And then go research the facts. So that's kind of the way I've approached all the information that I've seen regarding the school system. And I'll be talking mostly about K-12 education system in America, and just not so much, well, I'll be talking a lot about like the system itself, but also about our perspectives on the system and why we think it's a lot of times a good thing and stuff. So we're gonna just go right into it. Do I just hit over? Oh yeah, shameless plug. And phone number. If you have any questions about this and really wanna like discuss it, if you think I'm wrong on some point, and I'm totally willing to be wrong, I would wanna know. It's not like I mean, this is all pretty like edgy information, if that makes sense. So please like fact check me and tell me if I'm wrong so I don't make the mistake and present again to somebody else and say something that's not true. So I really hope that y'all do that. So please reach out to me. Just take a picture of this if y'all want to, and that'd be awesome. Okay. All right. Can we like,
yeah, just click on
this thingy?
one, yeah.
Awesome. All right, so don't confuse schooling with education. I didn't go to Harvard, but the people that work for me did. Okay. I'm gonna make a delineation in this speech between schooling and education because, well, you'll see why. I'm gonna define and do the etymology of the word education, where it comes from, and why we are misusing it a lot of times in our country today. Let's see. What is this? I don't like it, but it's fine. We'll deal with it. Oh, I hit resume. What do I do? Oh, there we go. All right, so Francis, Stella Schlafly, sorry. Our public school system is our country's biggest and most inefficient monopoly, yet it keeps demanding more and more money. Yep, all right. This not so famous person, who's very famous actually. The school system only recognizes one type of intelligence. There are so many different types of intelligences. There are in fact 7, and we can talk about those if y'all want to, but that's not the point of this conversation. If you want to enumerate them, there are 7. All right, school failed me. I failed school. It bored me. The teachers behaved like sergeants. So I don't know words. So I wanted to learn what I wanted to know, but they wanted me to learn for the exam. What I hated most was the competitive system there, and especially sports. Because of this, I wasn't worth anything, and several times they suggested I leave. All right, Barack Obama. Here we go. This is words valid. The public school system is not about educating Black children, never has been. Inner city schools are about social control, period. They're operated as holding pens, miniature jails, really. It's only when Black children start breaking out of their pens and bothering white people that society even pays attention to them, or attention to the issues of whether these children are being educated. Barack Obama. Sound racist much? I don't know. We shall see. Okay, other than the military, which is a necessity, the American public school system is the greatest example of socialism in America. And I would argue that maybe military isn't necessarily a socialist system because it doesn't discriminate on who it helps, if that makes sense. Besides Americans in general, socialism does discriminate on who it helps. Does that kind of is that a good differentiation? For example, school system differentiates on who it helps because it helps a minority, and that minority happens to be young people, and it's socialist system. So that's why, even though it says, oh, it's a public good, it doesn't necessarily, because it helps a minority, and that's not necessarily what our government is set up to do. It's our government is set up, that may have sounded racist, but our government is set up to protect the rights of minorities, not to help people per se. We're not here to doing this. We're here to be to protect people's rights, and that's what a republic is set up to do. A democracy doesn't do that. A democracy doesn't protect the rights of minorities. So anyway, the government mandates education, pays for it through taxing, and then tells you where you must go to get that education. That's control. And obviously, Charlie Kirk, he himself never went to college, and he started this amazing organization that that's why we're sitting in this room. So yeah, there's a lot of things in our education system we need to rethink, and he definitely puts out a lot of information about that. Has anybody seen some of his videos like regarding education? Yeah, kind of crazy. He's got a lot of good stuff. All right, so after we go through this, we're going to talk about 10 different reasons why schools suck in America. But this is education, and people would say that the education is kind of the purpose of schools, right? Like that's why schools exist, to educate children. But maybe we've not really asked the question of like, what is education? So this is education. So we can't see it because of this little bar thingy up here, but there's a word. How do I do that? Just
if you just click on it, like. Oh.
All right.
No, just.
Okay, cool.
Should like move to the side.
All right. Whoa.
Whoa, what did I do? Okay.
You can drag it to the side.
Yeah, it's not like.
It's fine. I'll move it back here in a second. It's fine. All right. So the two words ex and ducare, both are Latin words. I took Latin in high school, homeschool. I took it like with a teacher 1 day a week school. Like we would go get our homework 1 day a week, and then come back and do our schoolwork for the week or homework for the week. And then that was my high school experience. It was a lot different from a lot of people's, but whatever. We learned Latin. All right, so ex means out, and ducare means to lead. Has anybody ever heard of the word duke and duchess? Leader. Okay, that's where that word comes from. All right, so to lead. So to lead out. Educare, bring out, lead forth. All right, educare, to rear, to educate, to, what was the other one? To bring up. All right, so those are not necessarily, those were synonymous around the same time, the educare and the educare. And then the other one, the educatoem, whatever it is. Yeah. That one is the act of doing that thing. So this is two different words, educare and educare. They mean different things. And we have, in our language, combined them to mean just education, which is, I guess, child rearing, the training of people. Like, that makes sense. So as we raise people, but here we go. So this is what's unique about those words. Those words, educare and educare, they mean different things. The first one, educare, means to lead forth, as in lead forth out of someone's humanity, like to bring out someone's humanity out of somebody. It's to take somebody who doesn't have discipline, doesn't have knowledge, doesn't have anything that is required of being an adult, and it is leading them into adulthood. That is what that word means. And it's talking or referring to someone's mind and someone's heart, literally the entire person, not just like knowledge or implanting knowledge. It is to bring out someone's humanity. It's to get more out of a person than it is to put into a person. It's a completely different word than what we think education is, which is to put into stuff, information into somebody. It is not used like that at all originally in Latin. All right, so educare means a similar thing. It means, but it's more physical needs. It is literally to rear, to bring up to raise somebody with their physical needs. So like food, shelter, all the basic stuff. That's what that word means, to lead out into the world physically. Like that's literally the word education. But we don't use it like that anymore at all. We use it like to put stuff into somebody. We're gonna go get our education, something you can buy, really. It's more about your mindset and how you approach life. It's literally leading yourself or being led by somebody into the world. Like, that's a big deal. That's a lot bigger deal than the way we view education. Like, oh, I'm gonna go get my education now, or I'm gonna go, even just reading books, if that's your goal and stuff. It's not so much that, it's literally becoming a human. That's what the word education means. It's really freaking cool. So, and with that being said, that is gonna basically highlight the tenor of this whole conversation. Do schools actually educate? Do they actually do this? Like, that's kind of important. You would think that this is a pretty big deal. You literally just Google this. All right, that's all this is. I took a Google. This is my phone. All right, I took a screenshot of my phone and I put it into a slide. It's out there. This is not the way we view education, but this is how it used to be viewed. And it was primarily the role of the parents to do this. It was not placed on a school system or anything like that. It was put on the parents, literally, to rear somebody, to lead them out into the world. Primarily the father at the older age, and then the mother at the younger age. It's really cool, actually. All right, so we're gonna go to the next slide. All right, so with all that being said, schooling does not equal education. If you have a lot of school under your belt, that doesn't mean necessarily that you're educated, okay? Even if you have no education, and it works the other way too. If you have no formal schooling, it doesn't mean you're educated either. It's more of a perspective, and it's more of like how you approach life. So to lead out, to be led out into the world, that's what education means. Is school doing that? And the answer is probably not. But now it's time for me to have my 10 points of why it's not doing that. So here we go. All right. Now I'm going to pull up my phone because I have a lot of notes. And we're going to try and fly through these because they can take a while. And at any time, if you have any questions, just like raise your hand, because like I want this to be a discussion too. I want to like, again, I may be wrong on things and I want to know if I am. I'm not like going to say this is the way it is. And if you don't believe this, then whatever. I've just did research on this stuff. I'm no expert in this. I am literally just a dude like y'all who's done a little bit of research. What's up?
You mentioned child rearing through education. So do you think we're digressing as we move forward?
So as far as child rearing goes and leading people out into the world, it depends on a value system. So like what would this is why so many of the founding fathers thought education was like religion was so important to education. Because if you have no standard to judge what success is, like what does it mean to be successful, then you don't know if your education is, your schooling is leading you to that definition of success. If that makes sense.
So are you saying we need religion to be insinuated in education?
I'm saying that at least we need to have a moral structure in school, and I'm not just like a moral teaching in school rather than just teaching of facts, whether that's through religion or through just reading, I don't know, some other book, I don't know, where you're talking about like specific proverbs or something, but I'm not the only one saying that. Like that's founding fathers saying that too. Here, I'll actually, sorry. So here we go. This is Gouverneur Morris. He's a founding father. Religion is the solid basis of good morals. Therefore, education should teach the precepts of religion and its duties of man towards God. That's a founding father. Okay, this is the least right here. This is the deist, least religious person, Thomas Jefferson. Okay. Our system of all systems of morality, ancient and modern, which have come under the observation, none appears more pure as that of Jesus. I am a real Christian, that is to say, a disciple of the doctrines of Jesus Christ. All right. So, reason to experience both has forbid us that national and forbid us to expect that national morality can exist apart from religious principle. So you can't have a moral people without religion, is what George Washington said. Okay, that's pretty much it. I had another one in there from John Adams, and that was another good one. But that's at the end of it. But that is an extremely good point. That if you have no moral goal for like what does it mean to be human, then you have no solid basis for education. That's literally what Gouverneur Morris said. So, because there's no reason to educate to bring them out into humanity. So, but that's again another point. All right, so here we go. Number one, and I pretty much just covered that. All right, so if education means to lead out into the world, bringing the humanity out of a child, making them an adult, then why aren't we learning things like the basic functions of life, such as like insurance, investing, or how to buy a house, or how to write a business plan or start a business or create a travel plans, which are all extremely important things, stuff like that. Just like how to pay taxes, how to do accounting work, how to travel, stuff like that, how to do a job interview. Maybe your school taught some of these things, but by and large, it isn't being taught in a lot of schools, especially like things like coding or Bitcoin. Now, there are specific schools that do those things, and I'm a huge advocate for those, but I think that's like not the norm, if that makes sense. So if education literally means to lead out into the world, then why aren't they teaching things that are required in the world? I mean, that's kind of the whole point of this thing. So school sucks because of that, or one of the reasons school sucks is because of that. So doesn't teach you how to look for opportunities in the world. It doesn't teach you like entrepreneurship skills, creativity, all kinds of things. And it doesn't prepare people for life the for the most part. A lot of those things that people learn come from extracurricular activities or sitting around the dinner table with their parents and just like goofing off and stuff like that with their dad. I mean, that's where I learned majority of things was sitting at the dinner table with my dad and my brothers and stuff. We're just talking about ideas, stuff going on in politics, stuff going on in our personal lives, like real human things that matter that aren't being taught in like schools a lot of time. Because I mean, this is a funny story. All right. Not a funny story. It was an interesting story. And I opened my eyes to a lot of things. And it's kind of funny because I was teaching a sexual education class in middle school, a abstinence-based one. And it really opened my eyes to what middle school is like, as you can imagine. And I was kind of like separated from that when I was in middle school, if that makes like middle school. I wasn't really in middle school. But when I was walking around the hallways, people weren't talking to each other. Like it wasn't a thing. Like you weren't allowed to talk to people as a student. It was completely silent. The only place that they could talk this was one of the top 10 schools in Georgia, by the way. And the only place you could talk was in the gym. And they had like a 30-minute section of time blocked off where you could talk. All right, so middle school, the age is like 13, what is that? How old is that? All right, yeah, 11 to 13, all right? So that's pretty pivotal time in your life, you know? You're getting a lot of things going on in your body, in your head and stuff like that. And you would think that it'd be good for people to be talking to people and sharing ideas and having discussions about important topics, but the only time you're allowed to talk is if you ask a question in class or you're talking to your teacher, or you're allowed to talk in the gym for the 30 minutes every day. All right, so I didn't have that growing up. I could literally talk whenever the heck I wanted to. All right, like I could go talk to my brothers about whatever. Most of the school that I did, my older brothers were doing, because I mean, might as well use the same curriculum, you know, just teach them the same stuff. You know, it's just easier. So like we were talking about the ideas that we were discussing, and then we would go outside and use our imagination in the woods, fighting bad guys, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like literally, that was like childhood for me, was always being around my brothers who were different ages than me, and developing different like skills. And I'm not saying that it's better. I'm just saying that it's different. All right. There's the way school defines success. The way school is now is leading towards that definition of success. I just think that's a faulty definition of success, you know, because it doesn't produce happiness. That's why we have so many people who hate their jobs. 70%, that's actually the next slide. One second. Okay. Yeah, make the like, so like, all right, 70 to 80%, 85%, sorry, of people now hate their jobs, dislike or hate their jobs, all right? And that's terrible. It's really bad. Like, that's not a good thing. That's not a recipe for a happy life. And if we're the land that's supposed to be the pursuit of happiness, and people aren't happy in their pursuit of happiness, then that's kind of defeating the whole purpose of why school exists, right? I mean, it's just common sense, really. It just seems like it's not that common, or we're still stuck in the rut of doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, and that's insanity. All right. So all right, so here we go. The public education system defines success, and just the way our culture defines success right now as what? As what? What does it define success as? Money. Making a lot of money. What about family life? If you do have family life, how many kids do you have?
You have two and a dog.
2 and a dog. And they're a guy and a girl, son and a daughter. And let's see, what else? You're retiring at age 65, right? Maybe. And then you have basically, sorry, do you need me to talk into the mic? All right, I'm sorry. Here we go. All right, so you have, that's basically what the American dream is right now. Like, make a lot of money during that period of time. That's, I mean, that's what people can expect with their life right now. Like, all right, cool. what else? Like, what's the next thing? Do you want like
A yacht.
what?
A yacht.
A yacht. All right. That's a goal. All right. That's something I want to. One of my goals in life, I was telling somebody earlier, is I want to own a cruise ship. I literally just want to own a cruise ship and make money off a cruise ship. I think that would be the coolest thing. It's gonna be awesome. All right. So, considering that we spend over 2/3 of our awake lives, we should seriously consider why public schools are telling us success is having a job that we hate. All right. I mean, truth is really success should be defined differently for every individual. Everybody should, like, what if education, they said, what do you view success as? Like, and then when you wrote it out and you talked to your teacher, your, mentor, your whatever, then that should be the thing that they were helping you towards instead of just not, like, if that makes sense. I don't really know what else to describe that. Like, it's, go for it.
Success. Say success for him is completely different than me. One of us say I have the lower standard, get the higher standard. What is the actual, or what is the basis of success?
It's defined by every person. Like, my definition of success was like, what would make me happy in life is if I could help as many people as I possibly can. And I have no number on that. Like, that's literally my goal in life, is just to help people do stuff. Like, that would make me the happy. I mean, like, I'm really happy right now and I'm living in a like apartment right now, but it's not definitely like, for example, I want to do it the best way possible. And one of the ways that I think would be the best way possible is have a really large family of people who care about other people, having sons and daughters who are engaging culture in the world and raising them to do that, like 10 kids or more, that kind of deal. Like, I want a big family and I want them to all be like rock stars, knowing politics, knowing what it means to be a human. Like, then they're going to multiply their efforts and then they're going to do the same. Like, that's what success looks like for me. That's a legacy for me. All right. That's what I want to go for. And then teach them to be entrepreneurs. Teach them to, like, not by just saying you're going to be an entrepreneur, but be like, look, help me start this business idea that I have, and then I'll hand it to you when you're 18. And then they go do it, or when you're 16, or when you're whatever, or hey, come to me with a business idea and I will put money into it and we will figure this out. And they're, 15, 16, 17. Like, that's what I want to do with my kids. Like,
oh, but you're saying that it's an issue because people will have their own goals of success, but what education like perpetuates in our society is like one singular idea based on the ideas and the principles of how, like, in the middle school in Georgia, they're all like forced to do this one like strict path kind of without adding their variation.
what was your question?
No, that wasn't a question.
That was your
like
statement.
saying,
Yeah.
So that's basically what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand that.
Yeah. It's very, very true. And I've seen it, and I've talked to like literally everybody around me is public school. So it's not like I'm isolated from it. Like, it's not that I don't have any knowledge about the system. So I understand where a lot of people are coming from, just because literally all my friends, I had a brother who was public school. What's up?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I don't see that just in education. Like, I see that in like laws a lot, like drug laws, for instance,
Yeah.
and like laws about like what you can and cannot do. Like, and before like 2013 or whatever, how like gay marriage was not legal or whatever, that kind of thing. Just like a lot of things in the government like force like a certain idea of like how people have to live, when it doesn't even include just like the simplistic libertarian idea of like, you don't infringe on my rights and I don't infringe on yours.
Right.
Or like, I don't cause you harm, like that kind of thing. Like, the government, it's got so much money being put into it. It's like, we need to put more money in our schools, but then clearly it's just a way by which they facilitate those ideas of like trying to put you down the same path, and, like, make everyone like robots, even though it's not necessary because we
Right.
have technology advancing and whatnot. It's all just like the government slowing us down and like wasting our time.
Right. Well, what they've done is they said, this is what success looks like.
Exactly.
This is what it is. And that is not, like, literally the way it's written, the Constitution and Declaration of Independence is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That is however you define it, not the government. All right. because apparently the government's defining it is not working. 80% of people. That's really bad. That's like suicide rates. That's like drug overdose. Like that's not good. That's really not good. I mean, people who are stressed out and unhappy literally die at a younger age. They have obesity problems. They have all kinds of stuff. Like the government is literally killing people by doing that. That's tyrannical. It's tyrannical. I mean,
corporations are too, because like McDonald's, like you shouldn't be feeding a person that's overweight like 5 burgers, and like they just do it because they just do it for like $1 and they know that they can. It's like this guy's getting addicted with all the chemicals we put in here.
Well, so
like the
do
thing
you
in
think
Taco
that
Bell.
more money for these education systems is the answer?
absolutely not. I think the federal education system should be completely shut down.
You think they shouldn't get any federal?
Correct.
It shouldn't be federally.
It's
operated.
not their business.
Private education, essentially.
Absolutely. 100%. And I also support homeschooling 100%. I think there should be no public education
There
system
should still be some
whatsoever.
kind of like vetting process, like some kind of standardized, way to like validate one's education, right? Like
No.
standardized testing.
No, because that's somebody saying you're smart or not, and that's not what gives them the authority to tell you that what smart is.
I mean, not like, for businesses.
Yeah. That's a business. Business can do that. If they want to vet somebody, go for it. Be a business and vet somebody for your own standards. But like that's not the government's place.
The only issue that I predict that particularly is private school idea. Homeschool, you're going to get a lot of uneducated people because there are a lot of parents who are not.
And you're right.
Teach their child. And there's nothing you can do. Even the government cannot do anything to standardize that or to make it more accessible. Private schools are also notorious for being overpriced. We talk about colleges being overpriced. Private schools are just as, and of course there are always exceptions to that, but widespread. I don't know a single private school in my area where I grew up. So where without a public option, where would I learn?
So this is not, and this is later on in the speech. I think over there. So basically, the way homeschooling works, all right, and this is the way education worked prior to late 1800s, and it was the apprenticeship model, and a lot of homeschoolers still do that, and it works. It really works. Now there's a lot of like human rights things that are in the apprenticeship model that would be in great question today. For example, like beating apprentices and stuff was like common practice way back when, and they didn't get paid and stuff like that. Like there was a lot of things that are wrong with it. But obviously now, like we have come a long way from those human rights issues. So I am 100% for the apprenticeship model of education. And
you can like training people into jobs.
Yeah, well, not necessarily, yes, in a way. For example, the way that we have our education laid out right now is you have your subject-based education where you are talking about specific 5-6 subjects throughout the day, and then you go home. The problem with that is their brains don't work in subjects. They work in time periods. Our brains work, they focus on language when we're young, and then they start focusing on logic. That's why you have like younger 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds always asking questions. What's this? What's that? What's that? You start loading with information at that point. That's the memorization age period. So that's when they start like getting all the information, and what they learn during that period is what they're going to retain going forward. And so at that point, it's later on when they hit like puberty, adolescence and stuff, then that's when they go, okay, now what do I do with the knowledge that I've received from my parents and from my education the way it's supposed to be? And at that point is when you start introducing like jobs and businesses and like ideas and like, hey, what do you think about blank? And then the kid who's 11 years old has to go, what do I think about this? And then they have to come up with a solution to a real life problem, such as, okay, well, if I want to make money in life, then what are some, like, for example, my dad, he bought us, we saw people wearing these survival bracelets when we were young, all right? And he bought us a bunch of rope because we asked him to, because we wanted to make them. And we made them and sold them, my brothers and I. We literally made a whole bunch of these and sold them. That was our first business together. I mean, that's what I want for our kids. I want them to think of ideas, how can we make money? How can we have a good time? How can we pursue what makes us happy? Like we wanted to raise money for mission trips that my oldest brother wanted to go on. Like that's why we did it. Stuff like that. Go ahead.
I have a question. So you're not for standardized testing?
No.
So, right, so the government shouldn't like judge who's smart and who's not.
No.
So if they
Because that creates a class system.
All right, but like geopolitically, how are we going to compete with China and Japan and South Korea?
Why the heck do we want to compete with them?
Because we're in a globalized world. How do we make sure that our workers are competing with them on an intellectual level?
We're not
standardizing them.
We're not trying. That's the way the free market works. Okay, when the government, like, for example, if someone comes up with a cool product in China, then somebody here goes, oh, that is a cool product. How can I use that product for my benefit? I mean, look at Amazon. All right, Amazon existence helps a lot of people. A lot of people now have a platform where they can sell their stuff. Like that's the kind of the way that the system works. It's not so much of we need to have a standard where we can compare who's smarter and who's not. It's whoever can produce, whoever can innovate the best, whoever's the most creative. For example, these are the soft skills that are most in demand right now. And these are not hard skills. This is literally a screenshot from my phone. I looked it up. This is CNBC. The soft skills that are most in demand right now in today's economy, all right, and culture. Growth mindset, okay? How we're gonna grow, like how we're gonna get better. Creativity, focus mastery, the ability to stay on topic and to complete a task. Innovation, communication skills, storytelling, cultural awareness, critical thinking, leadership, emotional intelligence. All of these are things that our school system doesn't necessarily address a lot of times, but this is what, right now, this is what our economy is demanding of us. All right, this is, if you want to succeed, then learn these skills. Like, because that's the list right now, like right now. So that's it. If we can teach those things, if we can focus on the soft skills, then people will be able to process information better because they have creativity. Like, where does creativity come from? It comes from a lot of information, and then being able to sort that information in a way that benefits somebody, or being able to make it appealing to somebody. That's what art is. So the way that if we're competing with somebody else, like another nation, as far as like standards and stuff goes, then we're missing the point of what we should be after. Like, because it's not necessarily that we're, like when you're competing with somebody, for example, I forget, Simon Sinek, he has a presentation where he's talking about Apple and Microsoft, where how they're competing with one another, and, or not, what is it, Apple and Samsung, that's what it is. He was going up to somebody and said, Samsung has the best this, the best that, all the cool gadgets, the coolest features and stuff. And he said that to a person at Apple. And the person at Apple's like, so we're not competing with them. We're competing against ourselves. Doesn't matter what they have. We're just going to be the best at what we do. They're the leaders. They're the ones who are the innovators. And that's why they're more successful. Like it's literally, when you're competing, when you have set your own standards, rather than somebody else setting the standards for you, if you're the leader, then it doesn't matter what everybody else does. And if we can teach that in schools, then it's like where you can go for, if somebody's better than me at something, then it's not that, oh, they're better than me, now I need to beat them. It's now they're better than that at that thing than I am. How can I use that person in a good way? How can our relationship be mutually beneficial? Because we're succeeding for a goal that's not competition. We're succeeding for a higher thing, like a bigger aspiration, a better product, a better service, a better whatever, the best of whatever. Go ahead.
So would you say, like, are you, I guess, aiming at the fact that education should be generally focused on ways to, I guess, educate children or the youth towards the economy? Because, I mean, it sounds like, for example, you provided this list of 10 different things, 10 different skill sets, no?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's pretty much like these are the 10 most important skills that are being demanded right now. So are you saying that education is always going to be at the whim of 10 or however many different skill sets are currently relevant?
I'm just saying that education, the definition of the word to lead out into the world, you should figure out how to do that. And it should help people to lead out. Like if I'm going to lead somebody into the world, then I don't want to teach them something that they're not going to use in the world. That literally is oppressing that person. Like it's not useful. Those are the things that are useful. Education, the definition says to lead out into the world, this is what you should do. And this is the way I would teach my kids how to do it. I mean, because for example, one of the things that I do very often is read. I really spend a lot of time reading. And I want my kids to do the same thing. I want them to love learning, to love being, like to be curious, to ask questions all the time, to figure out solutions to problems. Like that's what I want. I don't want them to say, okay, what's the best job I can get? I want them to say, how can I solve problems? How can I help people the most? That's why it's one of my life goals. It is my life goal, to help be the most helpful person to everybody I can be at any time. Because if I am the most helpful, then I'll be the most in demand because people want somebody who can help them. So if you can be that person and to train people to be that person, if a leader, an education system, a school system can do that, then it'll be the best school system ever because you're wanting to teach them to help people, not memorize some facts that they're not going to necessarily use later. You know what I'm saying? If they find a career that has those specific things, then they can focus on that knowledge once they're in that career. For example, if like an engineering firm has an apprenticeship program, then they're going to teach them about chemistry and all other things like inside that apprenticeship program because it matters to that field. So everything somebody learns is actually useful because they're using it in the profession that they're in. And it's practical at that point. And that's a lot of reason why so many people don't pay attention at school. Like they have no, all right, yes, I learned all these cool quadratic formulas and stuff like that. And I think it's amazing. But then like, how am I going to use that in my life? You know what I'm saying? And so many people don't have that practical application. What's up?
I'm trying to back up what you're saying, and I know that everybody here experiences the gen ed requirements, specifically in college. How many of you take a class that you're never going to use?
Yep.
It's just a way for them to get more money from you.
Don't buy into it. It's just.
I took astronomy last year. I don't even like science. Not that I'm a science denier. I see you getting a lot of questions. And you're
That's a good thing. I want people to rest.
I'm trying to like. Ease up on.
This is one of those like topics that is like so many people in the like conservative side are so for the education system in America, and you have to really like, really consider what it's actually doing to our culture.
Well, sorry.
Go ahead.
Because I wanted to continue on a point that I was kind of working on because I think that I agree with you on most everything that you say because I think I'm a product of the public school system and I think that I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the opportunity to receive an education through a public school system. And I know there's a lot of issues with the public school system, and I think they're really you're touching on all the issues about public school. But at the same time, I think you're also saying that there is a possibility for having what if there's a system that we're focused on on what you're just saying right now, what you're describing, these 10 points, not just these 10 points, right? That's just, I guess, an example, but just on really bringing people out into society. I know I would have benefited from that, and I think I would have been more efficient in arriving where I want to arrive.
Yeah.
Had I received that level of education.
Or that kind of prompting from your parents, you know what I'm saying? Or from,
My question is it that the public system, school system is like messed up? Or is it that we just need to reform what it is that we're teaching our students through the system?
Well, goes to my last point right here. The school system is all right.
Why does Marx like school?
That's pretty prevalent.
These are the 10 communist planks of the Communist Manifesto. Look at number 10. Free education for all children in public schools, abolition of children's factory labor in present form, combination of education with industrial production. So that hasn't happened yet, but the free education for all right?
Onto that point real quick. So don't you think it's more of like it's less of public school, more of government intervention into our
Right.
government?
The government has no place talking about this. It's not their business.
Yeah.
It's not their purpose. It's when you look at the Constitution, it's not in there. They have no right to intrude onto people's lives like that. It's not their business. It's left to the states. It's one of those things in the 10th Amendment that's like any power not delegated here goes to the states, left to the states. States business, not the federal government.
I would sort of argue against that, and that mainly has to do with people happiness.
Okay.
So when you have a system in place where, so say we got rid of the public school system.
All right.
And we are left with millions of people who are unable to get education for one reason or the other. Typically, you're going to find it in low-income households or even high-income households with parents who are incapable of being there for their child, having to hire public tutors. And so when you create this system where people who can't afford to be educated, how are they going to pursue their own happiness? If they, if some education is better than none, even if it is.
So you're talking about affordability on it, basically, like.
Essentially, yes, because
all right.
we can all say it's the job of the parents, but in our society and in every society ever known to man, there's always been a class of people who are unable to get access to the required resources.
Right.
In ancient Rome, if you weren't a member of the plebs, you were never going to get an education unless you were adopted by a patrician. Okay.
So basically, you're saying affordability. So the cost of public education system to the taxpayer is $11,700 per student. That includes everything for 1 year. That's average from kindergarten all the way through 12th grades. National average, $11,000, $700. All right, private school is not much cheaper at all. It's $11,000, pretty much flat on. It's like even $11,000, $57. You can look it up right now if you want to. Google it. All right, so have you ever considered how much homeschooling costs? All right, so Homeschool Legal Defense Association, not just me pulling it out of somewhere. This is the Homeschool Legal Defense Association. These are the people who made homeschooling legal again in the early, in the 90s, all right? So cool organization. They're totally for the rights of people. They're a great organization. All right. They work closely with organizations like FIRE and other stuff like that. Very cool. They said it costs roughly $700 to $2,000 per student. All right. So that's a lot cheaper than public school, and all the tax money that's going into public school, and all the infrastructure and organizing those taxes and paying those people to allocate that money somewhere, and all the jobs associated with that, and then all the jobs in the public education system and all those kinds of things, they wouldn't exist. All right. Now let's say they don't exist and people focus on innovative careers in whatever industry. And there's plenty of careers out there in a lot of different industries. And if there were more people in those careers, there'd be more job openings in those careers. It's not if there's the more people there are in a career, the more openings there become in that career, because now you need more people to do that sort of thing. So it's pretty cool how that works. But you wouldn't have all that. So you would instead have people working on homeschooling. All right. Now, homeschooling looking differently. It's not necessarily like these are what you're doing. It's literally large families of siblings, and they're basically raising Like the parents are raising the kids are raising help. Like, for example, I know a lot of families, and you can probably attest to this. As you see, you're in a family of like 10 kids, right? All right. So the older siblings help with the younger siblings. All right. That's the point. Is it becomes cheaper the more children you have to educate your children.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm for people choosing to have homeschooling options. And my point is, you have a lot of people who don't fall into these categories.
Right.
You have these large categories. You know, I'm as somebody who works 2 jobs, you know, I understand that a lot of people who work as much as, you know, work 40, 50, 60 hours every week. They can't afford to take time, even if we got rid of the taxes that go towards school, assuming the government doesn't turn around and add taxes for something else because we know that they like to add taxes. You know, I don't think what comes out of taxes is a very small percentage compared to what I pay in rent, what I pay for food.
And
I don't even have a
yeah,
job.
and you're basically proving my point, or Gouverneur Morris's point of you can't have a free society without a religious and moral people, and therefore, like, you have to teach. That was actually John Adams. You have to teach religion in education. You have to teach a moral structure in education. And the reason I say that is because you have to have moral people who are going to stay together for the long term in their family. If we're focusing on in the family, like the family structure, basic building block of society is the family, then education and the school system, whatever way that we do it in the future should be to promote the family, the existence of the family, all this stuff. So here we go. This is a really cool chart. This is the income earned for different demographics according to age. So this is your age, all right? This is single men. This is their life earnings. All right, single women, married men, married women. All right. All right, so basically marriage helps men be better men. Why? Women help dudes. Like, dudes suck without women. Like, it's true. Like, dudes suck without women. And that is the biggest compliment I can give to women, I think. Like, I suck, like, right now, because I'm stupid single and I stink all the time. I suck. So, yeah. Who can attest to that? Like, what's up? You could argue that. You could. But I don't think that's the case. I think it's a false argument. If that makes sense. For like let's see, what is the date on this? I want to know.
2016.
All right, cool. What does it say? Oh yeah, 2016. Duh. All right. Blah. All right. Yeah, you could argue that, but I don't think that that's necessarily the case. I mean, like, for example, my brother, he sucked. Like he sucked. Like, just straight up. Like he'll even admit it. Like he said he sucked before he got married to his wife. Like, his wife is the most amazing person I have ever met, and it's made him a much better person. Like, bar none. Like, he is so much better, and he started earning more literally immediately after marrying her. Like, this chart fits his age like perfectly, and as far as income goes. He was married at 24. Now he's 26. All right. This is like dead accurate according to his income. He's like, he meets this perfectly. All right. So, like,
If you have people with strong morals, they won't marry just for money.
and they'll stay together longer. Yeah. Yeah. We're about to get kicked out. Yeah. Well, so I hope it was helpful. I mean, we didn't get through everything. This is another really interesting thing. Age of marriage. This is also like, just gonna fly through this real quick. But basically right here, something really interesting happened. And that was when prayer was taken out of schools. Right there. You see that? All right, this is another interesting chart. right here. All right. This one right here.
They get married later.
They get married later.
Do you think that had to do with birth control?
Yeah, that's when the pill was also created right here.
I was thinking that too. Like, I think it's more that's a stronger correlation.
It's both.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Pill was in 1958, right? Pretty sure that was right. 1958 or 1959. Okay, and then those are the different types of knowledge. All right, this is, hold on right here. So you may, conflate my information with something else or some other cause, but this is also kind of the same deal. This is how many kids.
She's waiting.
She is. Get married, dudes. All right, the number of children currently. So yeah, this is children in a household, 40-year-old woman's household. So people used to have 9+ kids, and it consistently was about the same until like the industrial era, and then all of a sudden, like right here, when the pill happened.
In 1973.
Yep. And all of a sudden, we literally have like all this, a lot less people in the world because of some innovation. Go ahead.
More modern countries tend to have less kids. The countries that are a little less industrialized, it's not many kids. But back then, having 6, 5, 9 kids, you needed all that.
Then why is it in a religious communities you have ridiculously large, like a greater proportion of the religious communities have much larger families? Or how they view children. Like my pastor back home, he has 10 kids.
I mean, there's definitely like that personal choice that goes into it, but I think that there's this huge stigma, especially in this community, regarding again contraception, where they're like the pill is not as considered.
And would you consider that a moral thing or a?
I would consider that. Yeah, I mean, it has to do with morality and the religious texts that they apply.
Do you think that it's a good thing or a bad thing?
Yes, I think it should be based on. We're fine with having 9 kids.
Well, I just want you to consider, for example, the benefits of having 9 kids. All right, if you're going to go by the standard nowadays of having 2 kids, that means you're going to have 2 kids, and they're going to have 2 kids. So when you're 65, you're going to have 4 grandkids, and you're going to be retired. And you're going to spend all your time with 4 grandkids, and there's your legacy. Why not? Think of your legacy, though. Dude, all right, every single one of those, you were their granddad. Every single one of those, you had a direct impact on. Literally.
I don't deny that it would be very fruitful and rewarding, but sometimes grandpa wants some alone time.
That's obviously, I mean, that's your choice. Absolutely. 100%. But I'm kind of sharing what I think would be my definition of success. And again, everybody can have their own definition of success. That's what the pursuit of happiness is. But what I want is I want a legacy of kids who would say, that man was a pretty dang good man. He helped a lot of people. And that's really all I want. And I want a lot of people saying that about me.
Hey, Brownie, can I just jump in real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, you said that basically you were homeschooled, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the one thing that I wanted to know, if like I could just like see like the difference between like public school and like homeschool, was there any physical experience with the knowledge that you had gained? Because I'm kind of looking at that basically you literally are given information, but also is there a certain point on where that information has a certain point on where like you are literally physically using that information, like physically, like in real life?
So this is exactly why I'm against a lot of the stuff even in homeschooling circles, because they model their homeschooling after the public school model, which is really a huge beef that I have.
Right.
So what really should be happening is, how do we teach them skills that are practical in real life?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, because that's the other thing that I'm realizing about public schools is that, and especially, just looking at even the internet, is just looking at the fact that, we don't really have a real true grasp of real knowledge. And one
Right.
of the things that I'm believing about real knowledge is looking at that real knowledge is not just information. It takes a matter of information and actually using that information physically to create that real knowledge.
Yes, it's like the difference between knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, now I have knowledge, but now do I have knowledge, which are book smarts? Okay, that's why reading is so important. But then what do
Yeah.
I do with knowledge? Like, how do I use this knowledge in the everyday? And does that knowledge even matter if I don't know how to use it in the everyday, day-to-day stuff? And
Yeah,
that's what I'm
basically
really
it's just the
saying,
use of it.
why
Yeah.
apprenticeship is such a, I think, like, there's an organization out there called Praxis. They're amazing. Like, they have an apprenticeship model. Like, they get kids and turn them into adults by placing them in jobs that pay very little, but they are
And
like,
that's great. And that's the one thing that I've also looked at is like, you know, like the whole thing of like going to school and like, report cards, grades, grade point average. I just look at those things as kind of just,
yeah, where do you
you
use
know,
that in real life? Like, where does
yeah,
that whole structure actually come into existence?
especially like, if you're dealing with a kid who is basically, he's living in a household that's basically subsidized or whatever, you know what I mean? And he's an honor roll student, but and all he gets out of that is a certificate. You know what I'm saying? That certificate doesn't help pay his bills. That certificate doesn't help, keep the lights on in his house. You know what I'm saying? I think that basically somewhere along the lines that all that education that he's absorbing should literally be used to like real physical use, even at that age that he's, even if he's like 12 years old, he should still be able to use that to at least
Right.
show that, it was valuable. You know what I mean?
Like, for example, one of the places where I think I learned more about life skills than anywhere else, well, there's two places. One was I did Boy Scouts pretty heavily. Another
Right.
place which I credit more was when I worked at a camp. And I worked at a camp
Right.
when I was 15 all the way through when I was 19. And
What camp?
It was a small Christian camp in Georgia. And
Okay.
yeah, I learned everything from how to deal with people in a job setting and how to like clean toilets to how to lead up an entire staff. Like, the last summer I was there, I ran camp. I literally ran camp. Like, I attribute more of what I know now to that experience rather than my high school experience.
Right. But can you say, but the other thing that I also wanted to point is that the thing that basically you can actually say while you were homeschooled was that all of the information that you absorbed, you were able to physically use it?
Well, that's
You
all the
know?
information that I use now. Like, my job is literally to get on campuses and talk to people and to try to relate to people and to have conversations with people that matter. I learned all of that stuff at camp. Like,
Oh, okay.
all of
But
that.
I guess the other thing I was really trying to literally try and kind of make like the difference between public schooling and homeschool is looking at are there more physical attributes in homeschooling when it comes to absorbing information than it is absorbing information and like literally dealing with physical attributes from public school.
For example, okay, so my parents they encouraged us to be involved with our community, like all.
Right.
That's why I'm involved with political stuff now, is because my parents were, hey, let's go to the school board meeting, even though we're homeschooled. Let's go to the county commissioners meeting. Let's go get involved with
Right.
the convention of state.
Right.
And we could do that in the mornings when they had those things because we weren't in school. We could go to a business and say, hey, can I come, watch your business and we did that. Like, we literally went up to
Went to the commissions,
we did our school one month. We just we went and did school somewhere else. Like, we went and traveling and that was our school. Like, we went to the Capitol. We traveled a lot. Like, there's a lot of opportunity to do that kind of thing being homeschooled. And it's more about the intentionality of the parents. And it's not, a lot of people make the excuse in homeschooling that I'm not adequate. I don't have enough knowledge to homeschool my children. I'm not qualified to do that. And the only thing that qualifies you to do that is that you're a parent. That's literally it. You have to care about your children. If you care about your children, then you will care what goes into their brains and what they're led into society to do, and where you want them to be, and like how much you want them to care about other people, because that directly, like, it directly affects each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, if I care for my kids, then I'm going to research and learn the things that I need to know to teach my kids the things that I want them to know. And that's important. And that's what we're missing in our society, because parents are shifting the responsibility of education to the public schools system, rather than taking it on themselves, the way the word itself defines education.
So basically back to personal responsibility.
Personal responsibility for yourself, and if you're a parent, then for other people. And for other people in general, you should take responsibility.
Right. I appreciate that, because, you know what I'm saying, I can actually say, you know, from my own standpoint, is that I can feel that the public school system also did fail me, you know what I'm saying, especially looking at the fact that I was also raised in a single parent household myself, you know what I mean? So I can understand that. But the other thing that I can understand is also, you know, throughout the years, and I'm 33 now, and now I'm like literally coming to where we now live in a world on where we have so much easy access to information. And because we have that easy access to information, we now have knowledge.
Yeah, and that's why skills like these become so much more important, because you can look up anything you want to know and do anything you want to do and find like the expert on doing that thing at any point, at any time, because of phone. So what becomes in demand then is the soft skills. What's my like interpersonal life like? What's my emotional intelligence like? How do I think about problems critically? What's my creativity like? That's why those things are so important, is because information has become so cheap, if that makes sense, even though it's so expensive now.
Oh, no, yeah. Because basically at the same point in time, that's how opinions are made. Like, you can literally form an opinion with even little to no fact. So, you know,
I think people should have facts and stuff when they form opinions, but
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing that I'm also looking at, is that even with just the information, it's not really helping the individual at all. That unless that individual literally has like any type of real, true physical attributes to literally bring to the table, then, you know, what was the whole point of absorbing the information? That's when, you know what I'm saying, when you bring up the whole entire thing of like being in a lab class and learning formulas and whatnot, but are you physically learning how all those formulas literally work?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
physically doing the work instead of just doing the book work. Are you doing the physical work on top of that? I feel that doing the book work is like just reading like an instruction manual.
Right. All right. So we need to close. But I think it was a pretty good, hopefully it was discussion. I mean, did y'all find it useful, I guess? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's pretty much it. Carter, there you go.
Yeah, let's get
Oh,
Yep. All right. So yeah, thank you, Browning.
If you guys want buttons or stickers, feel free to come down and take them.
And does everyone get our emails here? Raise your hand if you do not get our emails. If you do not want to get them. Yeah. And then one thing. There we go. Okay, and then, so if you guys are interested in getting a t-shirt, these are $20. We're gonna start printing them soon. We're trying to get a bunch of people to buy it at once, like a bulk, so it's cheaper. But yeah, who would be interested in getting a t-shirt? $20. Here we go.
I'd be.
Who said that? Rodrigo?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay. So Venmo here. Just Venmo. Where's the chat? Oh, here it is.
Venmo and
So yeah, it's also in the emails, or you can Venmo. I think there's a dash, right? So Venmo Johanny Dash King. It's $20, and then put your size in the comments.
they're cotton, so they'll shrink a little bit when you wash and dry them. I was also going to mention.
They haven't been ordered yet, so if you need different size.
I was gonna mention that the
And that'll be
shirts
extras.
help us like with fundraising. So we're trying to plan a lot of like right now with the COVIDness and everything like that, we cannot cater food. But a lot of the funds will be like going to having food at any socials or like meetings for us to like basically obviously feed you guys and then bring in more members to come join us and see what we have to say. So it'll help a lot, especially at the socials when we want like
Yes,
pizza.
we will be doing fundraisers.
Oh, yeah.
Planning on it.
Okay. And then so we're gonna take a picture, but before you guys leave, if you want to, so you got it on the email.
Yes.
Sweet. And then if you want a shirt, come see us afterwards. And yeah. All right. So, all right. Thanks for everyone for coming on Zoom. Hope you enjoyed.
Thank you very much.
All right. See y'all. I almost forgot. If you guys are on campus on Thursday, we're going to be watching the third and final presidential debate. It's going to be in the Senate chamber. So on the ground floor of the rights, right there by the bookshelf, Senate chamber. And that's going to be at 8:30. And the debates go from 9 to 10:30. So this Thursday, and everyone's welcome. So I hope to see you there.
All right, sweet.
All right, Carter. Appreciate it, man.
All right.
Thank you.
See y'all.
Bye, guys.
Peace, Matt.
Thank you.
See ya.